in the king. Good morning, children. Let us start a new lesson from the book Moments in the Kingdom of Fools. This story is about a guru and his disciple, and quite interesting story. Let's see what happens here in the story. It is believed that the fools are so dangerous that only very wise people can manage them. It's true. You would see this thing in the story. Who are the fools in the story? What happens to them? Let's read now. In the kingdom of fools, both the king and the minister were idiots. Now it's a story of kingdom which was named as Kingdom of Fool. It was where both the king and the ministers were idiots. They were not at all wise. They did not want to run things like other kings. They want to run the things in a different way so that people could remember them. So they decided to change the night into day and day into night. So what did they do? They decided to change the night into day and day into night. They ordered that everyone should be awake at night, till their fields and run their business only after dark, and go to bed as soon as the sun came up. See how they changed the day into night and night into day. They ordered that everyone should be awake at night. Nobody should sleep at night. They should be awake till their fields. They should work. Here till means to work in their field, tilling. So work in the fields during night and run their business also only after dark, when the sun sets. After setting of the sun only the people would go for their business, their work, and go to bed as soon as the sun came up. And as soon as the sun came up, they should go to their bed. Anyone who disobeyed would be punished with death, and the one who would not follow the rule, that person would be punished to death. The people did as they were told for fear of death. As the people were afraid of death, so they did as they were told. The king and the minister were delighted at the success of their project. They were quite happy that everybody was following them. One day, a guru and his disciple arrived in the city. One day, a guru and his disciple came to this city, to Kingdom of Fools. It was a beautiful city. It was broad daylight, but there was no one about. The day was on, the sun was on overhead, but still nobody could be seen on the roads. The roads and every streets all were empty. There was not even a sign of a single person on the road. Not even person, but no animal, even nothing was there on the road. Everything was deserted. Roads, streets and cities were deserted. Everyone was asleep, not a mouse stirring. So what I have told you, that everybody was sleeping, not even a mouse was moving in this road. Even the cattle had been taught to sleep by day. Even they practiced in such a way that their animals were also slept during the day. The two strangers were amazed by what they saw around them and wandered down till evening. Both were quite surprised. To their surprise, they were quite surprised to see, and they keep on moving, and they roamed about in the town till evening, when suddenly the whole town wake up and went about its nightly business. Suddenly when the sun set, then everybody got up and they started doing their business, their daily affair. They started their daily affair. The two men were hungry. They both, guru and the disciple, they both were hungry. Now the shops were open. Now they found the shops open. They went to buy some groceries. To their astonishment, to their surprise, astonishment here means surprise, they found that everything cost of the same. A single dudu. Dudu is the currency of used over there in the Kingdom of Fool. To their surprise, everything cost one dudu. Whether they bought a measure of rice or a bunch of bananas, it cost a dudu. The guru and his disciple they were delighted. They were quite happy. Delighted means happy. They had never heard of anything like this. They had never seen or heard of anything like this, that everything cost one dudu. they could buy all the food they wanted for a rupee. In the kingdom of fools, everything was for 1 rupee only. When they had cooked and eaten, the Guru realized that this was a kingdom of fools and it would not be a good idea for them to stay there. As Guru was very wise, quite wise, and he realized that it is a kingdom of fool and it should not be good. It is not good to be here in this kingdom. So this is no place for us, let's go. Then he told his disciple that this is not a nice place for us to live, so let's go, he said to his disciple. But the disciple did not want to leave the place, but disciple was happy by staying over there, so he did not want to leave the place. Everything was cheap here. All he wanted was good cheap food. Disciple was you can say greedy for the food, so what else he wanted? He wanted good food and good and cheap food. So everything that he was getting over there, the Guru said, they are all fools, this won't last long and you can't tell what they will do to you next. And he made his disciple understood that this is a kingdom of fool. This method or this rule is not going to be last for a long time. It will very soon, it is coming to an end and you can't tell and you never know what these people will do to you next. But the disciple wouldn't listen to the Guru's wisdom. But the disciple did not agree. He wanted to stay. The Guru finally gave up and said, do what you want, I am going. Finally, after telling him many times, when the disciple did not agree to leave the town, so Guru finally told him to be there only and he left the town. The disciple stayed on. The disciple stayed in the kingdom of fools. The disciple stayed on, ate his fill day, bananas, ghee, rice, wheat, and grew fat like a street side sacred bull. As everything was quite cheap there, disciple stayed. He had quite greedy for the food. He ate everything he wanted to eat and his body turned quite fatty. He turned quite fatty, just like a street sacred bull. One bright day, a thief broke into a rich merchant's house. One day, what happened? An incident takes place in the kingdom of fools. A thief broke into a rich merchant's house. Broke into means go into somebody's place quietly without knowing, without the person known, and to do the theft, you can say. A thief broke into a merchant's house, a rich merchant's house. A thief came. He had made a hole in the wall and sneaked in. How did he enter the house? He entered the house by making a hole in a wall. And as he was carrying out his loot, as he was taking the things out of that hole, loot, the wall of the old house collapsed on his head and he killed him on the spot. And the wall of the house fell down on his head. Whose head? Thief's head. And he died on the spot. His brother ran to the king and complained. Now, whose brother? Thief's brother ran to the king and complained. He filed a complaint. Your Highness, when my brother was pursuing his ancient trade, see the way of telling. He did not tell that he was breaking into the house. He said, when my brother was pursuing his ancient trade, when his brother was doing his ancient business or trade, a wall fell on him and killed him. This merchant is to blame. He said that the merchant has to be blamed for this. Thief's brother said, he punished the wrongdoer and compensate the family for this injustice. Okay? The merchant should get the punishment and the family should get the compensation. The king said, justice will be done. So as the king was also a fool, he quickly blamed the merchant. What did he say? Yes, sure, justice will be done. Don't worry. At once summon the owner of the house. Say, immediately send a message for the owner of the house. When the merchant arrived, the king questioned him. When the merchant came, the king questioned him, what's your name? Such and such, your highness. He told his name. Were you at home when the dead man burgled your house? Were you there when that man came to your house? Yes, my lord. He broke in and the wall was weak. It fell on him. He said, yes, I was there in the house. When he came, he made a hole in the wall. As the wall was weak, so it fell on him. The accused pleads guilty. Your wall, the accused, the person who was accused of guilty, who was accused for doing so, he says, he requests hundred a times to the king that he has not done it. Your wall has killed this man's brother. You have murdered a man. We have to punish you. Now what king says to the merchant? He says that as your wall has killed this man's brother, you are responsible. You are a murderer. So we need to punish you. See how the kingdom of fool is the justice was done in the kingdom of fool. Lord, said the helpless merchant, I did not put up the wall. Now, merchant also got an idea. He said that, Lord, this wall is not made by me. It's really a fault of the man who built the wall. This is not my fault. It's a fault of the person who built this wall. He did not build it right. So you should punish him. It's not my fault at all. He told the king to punish the man. Or man means here the mason who built this wall. Who built this wall? Who is that? Now king asked him, who is this? Who built this wall? My lord, this wall built in my father's time. He said, this wall was built in my father's time. I know the man, but I know the man. He is an old man now and he lives nearby. Now he said that the person lives nearby. The king sent out messengers to bring the bricklayer who had built the wall. Now he called for the mason or the bricklayer who had built this wall. They brought him and tied hand and foot. They brought the man by tying his hand and foot. You there? Did you build this man's wall in his father's time? Now he questioned him. Did you build this wall? Yes, my lord, I did. He admitted that that wall was built by him. What kind of a wall is this that you built? What kind of a wall? It has fallen on a poor man and killed him. Now he is calling the thief as a poor man also. See, you have murdered him. We have to punish you by death. Now he tells the mason that he will be punished to death because he had built a weak wall, and due to which the thief was dead. Before the king could order the execution, the poor bricklayer pleaded. Now, before the king's man followed his order, the bricklayer again said something. Requested. Pleaded means requested. Please listen to me before you give your orders. Please listen to me. It is true, I built this wall and it was no good. I agree that this wall is built by me and it wasn't quite good. But that was because my mind was not on it. Now he's telling it is not because my fault. It was because that time I did not build this wall wholeheartedly. As while building the wall, his mind was distracted. How? Let's read that. I remember very well a dancing girl who was going up and down that street all day with her anklets jingling, and I could not keep my eyes or mind on the wall I was building. Now he blamed a dancing girl who was passing every now and then from that street while he was building the wall. He said because she was wearing anklets and her anklets were making the jingling sound. Because of that jingling sound, I was not able to put my mind into my work, and because of that, I did not make a wall properly. Now see the answer, the reason gave by the bricklayer. You are right. The case deepens. You must get the dancing girl. I know where she lives. Now he blames the dancing girl and he tells the king he knows very well where that girl lives. You are right. The case deepens. Now king says, yes, you are right. The case has become quite deep. It has gone into the depth. We must look into it. We must see to the case carefully. It is not easy to judge such complicated cases. Let's get that dancer wherever she is. The dancing girl, now an old woman, came trembling to the court. She was shivering while she was brought to the court. Did you walk up and down that street many years ago while this poor man was building a wall? He said, were you passing through that street while this poor man was building the wall many years ago? Yes, my lord, I remember it very well. She also admitted that yes, she did so, and she also remembered it very well. So, you did walk up and down with your anklet jingling. You were young and you distracted him. So he built a bad wall. I think, children, it's clear how the blame is being passed from one person to another. It has fallen on a poor burglar and killed him. Because of that, as you were passing there, your jingling anklets distracted this man and he built a poor wall which has fallen on a burglar and it has killed him. So, you have killed an innocent man and you will have to be punished. So, you should get the punishment. She thought for a minute and said, now, lady also got an idea. What did she say? Let's see that. My lord, wait. I know why I was walking up and down that street. I know the reason why I was passing from every now and then from that street. I had given some gold to goldsmith to make some jewelry for me. He said, I had given gold to a goldsmith to make some jewelry. He was a lazy scoundrel. He was a lazy man. He made so many excuses, said he would give it now and he would give it then, and so on all day. Because of the lazy jeweler, I was not able to get my order on time, so I was passing through the street every now and then by asking him when she would get her order. He made me walk up and down to his house a dozen times. Because of that, I passed through that street a dozen times. That was when this bricklayer saw me. Yes, it is true. When I was passing every now and then from that street, this bricklayer saw me. It is not my fault, my lord. It is damn goldsmith's fault. It is not my fault at all, the lady said. Now it's the fault of goldsmith. Poor thing, she is absolutely right. Now king also agreed. He said, yes, she is not at all guilty. Now the guilty is somebody else. Weighing the evidence, now thinking of the evidence, he said, yes, you are not the culprit. Real culprit is a jeweler. We have got the real culprit at last. Get the goldsmith wherever he is hiding at once. Now king ordered his men to bring the goldsmith at once. The king's bailiffs searched for the goldsmith who was hiding in a corner of his shop. Now king's men, or the soldiers, went to find out the goldsmith who was hiding in his shop. When he heard the accusation against him, he said his own story to tell. When goldsmith came to know that why he was been called to court, now he also cooked a story which he was about to tell to king. My lord, he said, I am a poor goldsmith. It's true. I made this dancer come many times to my door. I gave her excuses because I could not finish making her jewelry before I finished the rich merchant's order. He said, it is not my fault. It is because of a rich merchant's order. He ordered me to make jewelry. So because of that, I had to finish his order first. Because of that only, I made this girl keep on waiting. You know how impatient rich men are. And he also added that, rich people are quite impatient. Who is this rich merchant who kept you from finishing this poor woman's jewelry? Now again, the game is on. Now he's asked about the rich merchant who kept on waiting, because of whose order this girl was waiting, which distracted the bricklayer, which made a mess on his wall, and which... So children, let us finish it here only. Second part next time. Thank you.